You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and I'm once again in an empty studio with empty chairs and, frankly, empty feelings. But we're still dealing with the self-isolation here in Illinois. You might be hearing this and everything could be back to normal. If it's not, just kind of letting you know up front that the sound might be a little bit different because everyone's coming to us from Skype. So we'll get to them. But thank you to everyone for your continued support and all the great messages and interactions on the crop on Facebook. It's keeping everything very lively, and there's so many great trivia streams going on. So it's like trivia never left, and it's even more accessible now. So happy to be a part of that. But let me introduce first Matt out in LA. How's it going?
Oh, it's good out here.
Good.
As usual.
And now we heard a while back that your fridge caught on fire. Is everything normal?
It's still on fire. I decided not to put it out, actually. That's
Okay.
just how my apartment's going to be from now on.
So your apartment is
fine.
slowly burning away.
Yeah, very slowly.
All right. Well, that hopefully won't take too long to burn then, I guess. Jeff, how are you doing? You're coming to us from Skype as well?
I know, I am. It's kind of weird. I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. But yeah, it's kind of weird not being in the studio. I miss it.
He was still late. Why don't you tell that story, Jeff?
Yes. So I'm always late to basically all of our recordings by like 5 minutes, which is about as far as I live from the studio. So, and currently I'm at home, and I still can't be on time.
Yeah.
So this time I was 10 minutes late.
And the special keys that I made you always forget, so I still have to open the door anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I usually have to have Neal let me in the studio. So.
Well, your musk is missed, but we're very excited for our two guests here. First, I will introduce our guest who's going to be playing with Matt today. She's a United States champion, and she's coming to us from Washington, D.C., and that's Jane Carmichael. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. You told us before that you bought a special headset for today's recording, which was really awesome. But why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Jane. I live outside of Washington, D.C. on the Maryland side where the cool people live. and by day, I do analytics and study people and movement of goods. And
It's very vague. I like it.
yes. And I have hobbies that include drywalling and tiling and just doing construction around my home and for my friends.
Yeah, you're a real Renaissance woman from what we've been talking about before we started recording.
I suppose. I don't think I've ever been referred to that way before, but
we're trying to bring it.
Well, now you have, so.
Yeah, we're trying to bring it back, and it's not just because of the Danny DeVito movie, but we're trying to call people Renaissance people now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm onto it.
Oh, good. And our next special guest is a Cruiserweight Champion on Patreon as well, and one of our favorite people. We've known him for a long time, and his special teammates, and I'm sure he'll talk about who we also love, but someone who we're very excited to play his game, and that is Dan Lundberg from Locust, North Carolina. How's it going, Dan?
I'm doing great. I trust everyone else here is as well.
Hanging in there.
Yeah. Again, thanks for having me on. I love doing this, and this is going to be the first time I've hosted, so I'm really excited about this game.
Yeah, we're really pumped up for it. We always love going to you for board game info and also just either playing trivia or having you involved and getting a chance to interact in person too. So anything that you've been up to since we've seen you at Geek Bowl?
I've been quarantined since you've seen me at Geek Bowl, basically. Actually, I'm still working, which is kind of strange, but I work in a school that's closed in a mobile unit by myself.
Oh, wow.
So I've been going stir crazy. So when I come home, I take over for my wife who's been working from home with the kids, and I'll take the kids off of her hands and try to get my social activity in there.
Well, we're happy that we can be here to give a little bit of a break and have you try to stump us. So thank you very much to both of you as well, Jane and Dan, for supporting us on Patreon. It really means a lot, and it helps us keep the show going. All right. Well, I think, Jeff, let's be a team. You and I, you did mention, not on the recording, but that you were late because you were napping. And since you do like to nap, how about we be Jeff Naps Periodically? That'll be our name.
I like it. All
right. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, so we were talking earlier. Jane was mentioning how excited she was to not be wearing makeup on a daily basis. And I think we're just going to be the quarantine beauty routine. I think that rhymes. That's
Quarantine
fine.
beauty routine. I like it. I know I didn't mention Ken. Ken is not here. He's not Skyping in. Ken actually...
Does Ken own a computer? Is that the problem? Do we have to
I think
send him one?
Ken uses... Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know what it's called, but Ken uses one of those things where there's like little beads and you do math with them, and they used to do it in like olden times. Abacus, thank you. Abacus Finch. That is not a character.
No, I'm thinking of that Genesis album.
Yeah, the Genesis album. But Ken has gone into manufacturing abacuses because he thinks that all the computers are going to go away like Y2K. So if you need an abacus, reach out to Ken.
Well, that's good. He needed a new job, so I'm glad he found one.
There you go. Well, let's throw it to the rules guy, who is also quarantined, and let's see how he sounds today.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop!
Dan, feel free to take it away. We're super excited to play.
All right. Well, let's just jump right into it. Question 1 in the category of, well, it's catchy, I'll grant you that. Pop Goes My Heart is a song by the fictional band Pop, which is fronted by the equally fictional Alex Fletcher in this 2007 rom-com.
Jeff, I can lock us in if you want to let them talk.
Perfect.
Of course.
Okay.
Pop Goes My Heart. Was it like a Jack Black movie?
Or maybe he locked in pretty quick, so I'm thinking maybe was there maybe an Amanda Bynes movie?
Just because I locked in right away, you're like, oh, it's totally Amanda Bynes.
That's exactly
she's all that.
Yeah.
Alex
all right.
Fletcher. This is like such a British name, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or,
and the band's name
Alex
is Pop.
Pop.
So
is that kind of like a play off Wham?
I think.
Which is kind of like 80s, maybe?
Well, I definitely think that Music and Lyrics is a movie from that era, and I know it's about music. And I was gonna see it, but instead I went and saw Norbit, which was the right choice. but I think we should lock in with Music and Lyrics.
All right, I'm good with it.
Okay.
This is a fun romantic comedy because, as everyone knows, I love romantic comedies. I just watched it again recently. It deals with a band that's very similar to Wham and an aging songwriter played by Hugh Grant, and it'll be Music and Lyrics.
Your correct answer is Music and Lyrics, and you guys were pretty much dancing all over the entire plot of it there. So
yep.
No one has to go see it now.
Yeah, we went to the theater to see that Jim Carrey movie, The Number 23, and we went to the wrong theater, and Norbit and Music and Lyrics were playing, and everyone went to see Music and Lyrics, and I said, I think I'm going to see Norbit. So, and that's what I did.
All right. Well, question number 2 in the category of A Rose by Any Other Name. James Earl Jones is the iconic voice of Darth Vader. However, he was not George Lucas's first choice to play the villain. Which legend of film and radio did Lucas ultimately pass on for fear that his voice would be too recognizable?
Okay, so you're locked in. Jane, you were thinking the guy from the Thriller song is what you were thinking?
I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. but I'm not entirely sure on it. I know that he had done something popular around that time, and his voice is very recognizable. And I thought that it was because he had done Thriller.
Gotcha. So my first thought was they said it's somebody famous from film and radio.
Oh,
and
radio.
One of the most famous radio voices was War of the Worlds with Orson Welles. And I would think that his voice would be too recognizable if they made him Darth Vader.
Like, I honestly don't know, so I'm happy with whatever.
Okay, so we're going to lock in with Orson Welles.
Yeah, we said Orson Welles.
All right. Well, the voice that George Lucas thought would be way too recognizable to everybody was, in fact, Orson Welles. Very good job.
Although I really want to hear Vincent Price say, "Luke, I am your
Vincent
father."
Price, that's his name.
Yeah.
I might be getting it confused with something else they wanted Vincent Price to do, but they were like, nah, too scary, or something like that.
If only we had Ken here for his Orson Welles impressions.
Yeah, I did a very poor impersonation of the opening to the Paul Masson commercial that we talk about basically ad nauseum.
Every single episode, yeah.
Yeah, it gets cut usually, but
it's there.
All right, question number 3 in Dude, Do You Even Eurovision? Swedish superstars ABBA had 4 songs reach the top 40, whose title consists of only one word. I want you to name 2 of them, keeping in mind that initialisms and hyphenated words do not count toward this total.
Jeff, I don't know much about ABBA either. I did remember seeing a post about this, about Eurovision, and there was like a song that was like started with an H or Shelter or something, or didn't they do that song Changes, right? Like change your mind, right?
Isn't that Take a Chance?
Or Take a Chance. Oh, you're right. I'm thinking of David Bowie. Yeah, Take a Chance. Maybe we just tap Jeff, because I think it's like Shelter or something with an H, and there's no way I'm going to come up with it.
I mean, you could guess Shelter. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Do we have to guess 2 though?
We need 2, yeah.
How about Shelter and Happy? I don't know.
That Pharrell song was a cover. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He stole it from another person. Yeah.
So it turns out Jane is a big ABBA fan.
Yeah. My mom and I took a road trip to California, and she forgot to pack music into the car, and the only album we had was ABBA Gold, and so it was on loop from Seattle to Orange County the whole way.
It's quite a drive.
So I know a lot of ABBA information and songs.
Yeah, so we locked in quickly. I said Fernando. I'm pretty sure that's one. And then you said Waterloo for the other one?
I said Waterloo. I think that went pretty high in the charts. And it's also got one word, so.
Yep, Fernando and Waterloo.
All right, well, the 4 songs are Chiquita, Angel Eyes, which is all one word for some reason, Fernando, and Waterloo. Very good job.
Nice job.
Right.
It's so funny when you mention that. Now I remember the post I saw was a trivia question, I think, asking what famous battle was ABBA a fan of or something like that. Now that totally makes sense.
All right, question number 4 in the category of Here's the Thing. In between stints of playing policemen on series on ABC and FX in the 90s and 2000s, what actor flexed his comedy chops on the short-lived NBC sitcom Daddy-O?
We're locked in.
Oh, you're locked in. Okay. So, Jeff, you said Michael Chiklis, which is a good...
Yeah, I thought he did something a little outside of the more dramatic cop roles, but I can't remember if it was him. I definitely remember something.
Well,
something uncommon that he did.
I do like your answer regarding the FX of it all, because he was on The Shield, obviously, and then he was on
right.
And I'm completely blanking on the cop show he was on before that. But the thing that this all makes sense now. Dan is a genius here at writing this game. I was going to put Alec Baldwin because the category was Here's the Thing, and that's the name of Alec Baldwin's podcast. But Michael Chiklis also played The Thing in Fantastic Four, so we're going to lock in with Michael Chiklis.
Oh, wow. All those things make me feel a lot better about locking in with Michael Chiklis right away. So he said Michael Chiklis.
All right. Yes, on FX, he did star in the show The Shield, and on ABC he was in The Commish. And that would be the Thing himself, Michael Chiklis. Very good. Before I go on, I just want to go ahead and say thank you to a few people that helped with the categories and things like that for this round. Phil Sanford and Scott Barber and Steve Bonneman all helped out with that. And actually Mike Cameron actually wrote that last question. So I don't want to take all of the credit for that. So
that's why there was a comic clue in there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a great question, Mike. And why not? You said Mike, Phil, and do you want to just shout out the other members of the Sinister Six who we love?
Well, yeah. I mean, the other ones who weren't able to take the time to listen to this game with me was Wesley Wells and Jeffrey Seguritan. Were not able to come on the show. Weren't able to. I mean, I call my game.
They can come on the show whenever they want.
Yeah, no, they weren't able to show up for that, but everybody else helped out with that. So, and then Steve Bonneman, who is a friend of the team, who helps us out a lot, fills in every once in a while when we need somebody. So, all right, question number 5. Well, that's a terrible Christmas gift idea. Which popular culinary fruit comes in such varieties as Williams, Camas, Concord, and Anjou?
Okay, so obviously we both heard Concord and went to grape. That was the first thing we thought. But the last thing, the Anjou, I think that's a type of pear.
I have never heard of that or any other pear variety. I thought green was the only pear.
I'm a big pear guy, so I know there's Bartlett and there's a bunch of different.
There are Bartlett pears, yeah. So I think that we should go with pear.
Okay, pear it is.
Yeah, Jeff and I, our guts, we might have fallen into the trap, but we both went to grape, and we said grape.
All right. Well, the other varieties that I did not mention are also the Bosc and the Bartlett. It is the pear.
All right.
Nicely done.
At Jeff Naps periodically, we have 30 points. How about you, Matt?
Perfect so far, so 50 points.
Oh, all right. We got some catching up to do.
All right, let's move on to question number 6 in That Don't Make No Sense. Salvador Dali, Marcel Duchamp, and Max Ernst are just a few of the artists that are associated with this movement that is characterized by a rejection of capitalism and the wide use of nonsense and protest.
Yeah, I know he was affiliated with a few things. The other one that I feel very strongly about, I know he was part of Dadaism. I don't know much about that, and I don't know anything about Cubism, and I know that those are the ones associated with Dali.
I kind of like the Dada one, because I feel like one of those names really sounds familiar, like he made an art piece that with like a toilet, but I could be way off on that.
Duchamp?
Duchamp, right?
Duchamp did that. It was like a urinal or whatever.
Okay, so. And I think that was part of this movement then about the capitalism thing. So maybe that is is it Dadaism, you said?
Yeah, those are the ones that I know he was associated with, but I don't remember which one's which. So.
And then if the art supplies were paid for by someone else, it was Sugar Dadaism or no? Okay. Do you want to lock in?
I like that. Good one.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, we'll lock in with Dadaism.
Okay.
So, I really feel like expressionism is sticking out to me, but I don't know anything about the other two painters. Well, so I'm okay with whatever.
Yeah, well, I have no opinion, so we're going to go with expressionism.
All right. Well, the movement we were looking for is Dadaism.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Never would have got there.
Good job, Jeff. Good job.
I have Dada issues.
Dada issues.
All right. Question number 7 in the category of no, it wasn't okay in the 90s either. If you have ever worn socks with sandals, you had better be either a soccer player in between games or wearing lederhosen, or you might be guilty of a fashion this, which translates to false step.
Yeah.
We're all locked in.
Yeah. So in the early 2000s, I had a 2-word hairstyle where the second word was hawk. But for this purpose, it is faux pas.
Mm-hmm. We locked in with the same thing, faux pas.
And that is correct. If you have ever worn socks and sandals together, you were victim of a
Committing
fashion
a faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Editorial comments are mine.
No, we agree. That's fine.
I feel like
Question
this is well
number
established.
Question number 8 is in Just Don't Take a Drug Test Afterward. In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy and company must pass through a field full of this flower in order to get to Emerald City. Spoiler alert, they wouldn't have made it through if Glinda hadn't made it snow.
I love Wizard of Oz. I am going to lock in Forest, Jeff.
Perfect. I knew you had it, but I'm good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the clue comes from the Seinfeld episode of when she eats a poppy seed bagel and tests positive for opium. So I'm pretty sure it's poppy, and we locked in with poppies.
We locked in with poppies as well.
Yes, you can just hear the Wicked Witch of the West saying, poppies, poppies. Yes, that is correct. It is poppies. Question number 9 in, well, it took you long enough. It wasn't until 2001 that this Major League Baseball team was represented in the Hall of Fame when Dave Winfield was inducted wearing their cap.
I think Jeff has a great line on this, so I'm going to go with his answer, and we're going to lock in.
Oh, I don't have this information in anywhere.
Okay. My first thought was Blue Jays, but then I thought that Kirby Puckett had made it before. And knowing Dan being from Minnesota, and the Twins have not been very good for a long time, I think it's the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, given what we know about teams that are really bad, Neal and I went back and forth, and we actually had a gut feeling it might be the San Diego Padres.
Matt, I'm very disappointed in you that you've overlooked such stars as Harmon Killebrew and Tony Oliva and Rod Carew.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, we are looking at the San Diego Padres. That is correct.
Nice job, Jeff.
All right. Let's move on to the last question of this round, which is in the category of, for the last time, I am not a cartoon character. This Lebanese appetizer consists of mashed eggplant, tahini, olive oil, and lemon juice. It is often served as a dip with pita triangles and seasoning.
You know what? Let's just lock in with our gut answer. I know it's wrong, especially considering what we know now of the categories, but I don't know. You just want to lock in with it?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. We're locked in.
Yeah, so we think, so you said that they're potentially all the clues, there's like a theme for the round, and we've kind of picked up on fathers or dads as the theme, because Padres and Dada and etc. Yeah, well, I don't know. Somehow it works in there. Yeah, I don't know.
That clue, of course, was because Vic Mackey was an excellent father.
Tabbouleh?
Yeah, that's a thing. We're gonna lock in with.
Is that a thing? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only thing. That's the only dish I can think of.
Yeah.
That's not hummus. That's from that region.
That people dip.
I think. Don't at me if it's not from that region.
Okay. Listen to her, everyone.
Tabbouleh, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So our answer, we were going to go with hummus, and with the father theme, like you said, we kind of figured that out, like the or son Wells Dadaism faux pas. And I don't know if this is even a thing. I just know one of the last times that we had food, there was baba ganoush.
It's a thing, Neal.
It is a thing? Okay.
It's a thing. I just don't know what it is.
I don't know what baba ganoush. I don't know what baba
wrong,
ganoush
so.
is. I don't know if it's papa ganoush, but I think it's baba ganoush. But we just said baba ganoush, if that's a thing.
All right. Well, the answer that I was looking for here is, in fact, baba ganoush.
Nice. Well done.
And,
salad.
You did pick up on it toward the end there. I will go. We'll walk it back here, and we'll let you know that question 1 had Pop. Question 2 had Vader. Question 3, ABBA. Question 4, the sitcom Daddy-O. Question 5 was Pear. 6, Dadaism. 7, faux pas. 8, poppy. 9, the Padres. And 10, baba, which is a word for father. So yes, all of them had something to do with father.
Wow, great
Nice.
round. Great round, Dan.
This could come out on our Father's Day special in June.
Oh, that would
Hey.
be great, actually.
There you go. At the end of the first round, it looks like Team Quarantine Beauty Routine has 70 points, and we have 80 points over at Jeff Naps Periodically. That was a great first round with the father theme. Before we go into the swing round and see what Dan has in store, make sure to join us over at The Crop on Facebook. It's our private Facebook group where we have interactions with listeners, some news and different events that we can post. And lately there's been a lot of live trivia opportunities there from the comfort of your own home. Also at The Crop, it's going to be where we're going to post our listener sign-up sheets. So we're trying a new format that's been working well so far. So each 2-month period or so, maybe even up to a quarter when we figure things out, are going to be in The Crop. So it'll be a Google form that you can sign up to be a contestant or a host. So just make sure to be on the lookout there. And join us over at Instagram at Triviality Pod. Matt and I have been populating it with different images of episode releases and other fun behind-the-scenes photos. So make sure to follow us over there at Triviality Pod. And we look forward to interacting with you. Okay, Dan, take it away. What do you have in store for us with the swing round?
All right. Well, you know this would not be a game of mine unless I got board games somehow into the game. But don't worry, you do not need to know your board games in order to get these. But what's going to happen here is we're going to have a swing round called Geography Board Game Edition. So every one of these answers can be gotten to by just the questions itself. But as a little backup for you, if you do know your board games, every answer is the name of a board game.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start. Number 1, a famous Greek island known for the blue-domed, whitewashed cubiform houses of its 2 principal cities, Phyra and Oia. Number 2, the eastern terminus of the now-defunct train line, the Orient Express. Number 3, 2 rivers that meet at Shat el Arab and proceed to empty into the Persian Gulf. Question 4. There's one in Paris and one in South Bend, Indiana. Pick one. Question 5. Located 40 kilometers northeast of Mexico City, it's famous for its Pyramids of the Sun and Moon and the Avenue of the Dead. Question 6. A palace and fortress located in Granada, Spain. Its name means the Red One in Arabic. Number 7, quite simply, the second largest city in Russia. Number 8, a less than official name for the headquarters of the Metropolitan Police Service in the city of London. Number 9, the capital city of the largest U.S. territory outside of the 50 states. And number 10, a sawmill in Coloma, California, central to the beginnings of the 1849 gold rush.
All right, we will take a look at these questions and be right back with the answers. All the answers are locked in, so let's go back to Dan for the questions and we'll hear the answers.
All right, number 1, the famous Greek island known for its blue-domed, whitewashed cubiform houses of its 2 principal cities, Phyra and Oia.
Yeah, when we were racking our brain, we went through quite a number of islands, believe it or not. And then I think I remembered that this is Santorini.
I didn't know, and just Jane said Santorini right away, so we said Santorini.
All right, and the answer is Santorini. Very good.
All right.
Nice.
All right, number 2. The eastern terminus of the now-defunct train line, the Orient Express. Neal and Jeff?
I didn't know most of these, so I'm just going to trust Jeff. He said Istanbul.
I had no other reference point, so I just thought maybe Silk Road.
All right, well, it did end in Istanbul. Number 3, 2 rivers that meet at Shat el Arab and proceed to empty into the Persian Gulf. Matt and Jane.
This one I was pretty sure about. I know those rivers are the Tigris and Euphrates.
Yeah, we said Tigris and Euphrates.
And yes, the answer is Tigris and Euphrates. Number 4, there's one in Paris and one in South Bend, Indiana. Pick one.
We went with Notre Dame.
All right. And Jeff and Neal?
Yep, Notre Dame / Notre Dame. That was our answer.
Yep, it is Notre Dame. All right. Located 40 kilometers northeast of Mexico City. It's got the Pyramids of the Sun and the Moon and the Avenue of the Dead. Jeff and Neal?
When I think of pyramids in Mexico, I think it's Tenochtitlan. That's the only one I could think of. I know that's near Mexico City, so that's what we went with.
And I'll leave this one to Jane. She's very upset about it.
We had a similar thought process where we knew the Avenue of the Dead was where Jeff said, but I have a difficult time pronouncing it. Ultimately, we went with Guanajuato, where there are also pyramids in Mexico, but not these pyramids, it would seem.
All right. And yes, the answer I'm looking for here is Teotihuacan.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that.
I'll be honest, I've had to learn how to pronounce that because of the game itself. So, yay games. All right. Question number 6 is the palace and fortress located in Granada, Spain. Its name means the red one in Arabic. Let's go with Matt and Jane.
Ooh, this one, no idea. Don't know anything about Camp Granada. Sorry. Pass.
All right. Neal and Jeff?
Once again, all Jeff on these because he knows board games and geography. I believe it's Alhambra is what we went with.
It is the Alhambra. Very good.
Yeah, I only got that because of the board game.
Question 7. Quite simply, the second largest city in Russia. Neal and Jeff?
Pretty sure that's St. Petersburg.
All right. And Matt and Jane?
We concur. St. Petersburg.
All right. And the answer is St. Petersburg. Very good. A less than official name for the headquarters of the Metropolitan Police Service in the city of London. Jane and Matt?
Oh, we said Scotland Yard.
All right. Jeff and Neal?
This is the only one I knew. As a fan of Sherlock Holmes and the Sherlock Holmes mug that I'm drinking out of that Jane and I were bonding over mugs, Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard is correct. Thank you. All right. Question number 9. The capital city of the largest U.S. territory outside of the 50 states. Jeff and Neal, what did you say for that?
We think the largest territory is Puerto Rico, which itself is a board game, but we said San Juan.
All right. And Matt and Jane?
Yeah, we weren't too sure on what the largest territory was, but I definitely knew the capital of Jamaica was Kingston, and it sounded like a game, so we said Kingston.
Oh, right. I have no idea whether Kingston is a game or not, but San Juan is, and that is the correct answer. And finally, number 10, a sawmill in Coloma, California, central to the beginnings of the 1849 gold rush. Matt and Jane, what did you have for that?
Oh, no, a whole lot of nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
All right. And Jeff and Neal?
Let me take this one, Neal. So very weirdly, and I don't know if this is like me misremembering something or just a weird cosmic coincidence, but I sort of remember, and I don't know if it was the episode Dan was on previously, but we talked about a song by Dan Fogelberg called Sutter's Mill. And I think this is very same.
Well, I was not on that episode, but the correct answer is Sutter's Mill. Very good.
I know we had it on the show before. I couldn't remember if it was one of the ones that you were on.
All right, going into the second round here, it looks like Team Quarantine Beauty Routine is at 95 following the swing round. And thanks to Jeff getting all the questions and me only providing Scotland Yard, we have 130. So looking forward to this second round.
All right, well, the second round, question 1 in the category of, well, he did go to Harvard. On September 19th, 1995, the New York Times and the Washington Post individually published an essay entitled Industrial Society and Its Future, which was written by which Ivy League graduate?
And we are locked in.
All right, so Jeff, we are talking about a few different folks here. You mentioned Al Gore, Paul Allen, Bill Gates.
But 95 would have been right about the start of the Microsoft. Like really the explosion. Gates I don't think graduated though. So do you want to go Paul Allen?
Sure, let's go with that.
I think you guys were right on the right track when you said it was around the time of an explosion. I think that this was the Unabomber.
Oh.
All right. Well, this essay was technically an essay, but really is known more as being a manifesto written by Ted Kaczynski, or the Unabomber.
Yeah, great poll.
Yep, great job there.
We needed that.
Yes, we did.
we need all of them.
All the points
from
we can get.
Yeah.
All right, question number 2 in That's Not My Name. Though he's never actually referred to by either name in the Bible, 2 flowery phrases found in the Song of Solomon 2:1 are often used as descriptors of Jesus Christ. Name one of these phrases for full credit and give me the other phrase for 5 bonus points.
The Bible's it's in my book queue. I just never get around.
It's on your to-read list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's the next one up on your Kindle.
Yeah.
We'll lock in, Jeff. Let's just go with those 2 answers.
Dude, I don't know.
I've sang those phrases before, and I have no idea if they're even about Jesus. But let's go with that.
So I initially sent you Lamb of God.
Which is an amazing band, of course.
Right, which is where I got it. These are ones where I don't like to make a joke because then I get the emails.
Right, you're going to get tersely worded emails.
It's only happened once. That's fine.
I don't have anything better, and it doesn't seem like, I guess, super biblical, but we could go Lily of the Valleys.
I like it. It's fine. Lily of the Valley.
Flowery.
What'd you guys have?
So, Jeff, we didn't really have any idea. I was just going to make a joke answer that it was like B.I.G. He liked to be called Big Papa, but we did not go with that. But Jeff actually had a very smart one. It was a phrase that I've sung a million times before in a mass performance. We said King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
All right. Well, the 2 phrases that are used in the Book of Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1 are the Rose of Sharon and the Lily of the Valley.
Wow. Nice.
Hallelujah.
I think the King of Kings is Triple H. That's who you were thinking of.
Yeah, right. Right.
All right. Question number 3 in That Theory is Cracked. While the truth is that it was most likely due to a fault in the original metal, an apocryphal tale claims that the Liberty Bell developed its famous crack while chiming for the death of which U.S. Supreme Court Chief of Justice in 1835.
Jeff and I have an answer, and we're going to lock in.
Okay, so my first thought was John Marshall. Noted Supreme Court Justice, had a law school named after him. What are your thoughts on that, Jane?
My only logic was that it would, maybe have something to do with the revolution, but I didn't know too much about it, so I think that John Marshall is a fine answer.
Okay, then we are locked in.
This is just due to my movie knowledge. I think I could be completely incorrect, but I think John Quincy Adams was a Supreme Court justice, or at least was on the Supreme Court at some point, and in Amistad he was pretty old, and I'm just assuming with the time period that he would have died not too long after that historical event period takes place or whatever. So we want John Quincy Adams.
All right. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice that died in 1835 and may or may not have caused the Liberty Bell to crack is John Marshall.
Oh,
all right.
Nice.
All right. Question number 4 in Did You Pay the Babysitter? From the You Can't Make This Up files, on the night that Wayne Gretzky learned that he was to be traded to the Los Angeles Kings, he was babysitting what future music superstar as a favor to his good friend?
I watched the documentary about his time with the Kings, so I've seen this.
Jeff and I have an idea. We threw a few names back and forth, so we're going to lock in and let Matt and Jane talk.
So right away, I said, I think it's Miley Cyrus. The only thing is, if it was 93 or 94, I can see it. If it was earlier than that, I think Miley wouldn't have been born yet.
My one thought would be, is it a Canadian?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was playing for the Edmonton Oilers, then
Right.
likely he was living in the location, I would think.
Babysitting Celine Dion. She's a little.
She's too old. She
Celine
was
Dion.
babysitting him when he was a kid.
Yeah. Carly Rae Jepsen. but I don't think that. My thing is, I think it has to be like a celebrity's kid, more or less.
Yeah.
So that's why I would go with Miley.
Yeah, we can go with that. That's fine with me.
All right, we're going Miley.
And Jeff, do you want to take it?
So yeah, we didn't know. We thought maybe it was somebody's kid who was famous, but we couldn't quite pull that angle. So we just went to somebody who we thought might be a baby at the time he got traded, and we said Carly Rae Jepsen.
All right. Well, no points this time, but Matt and Jane, you have no idea how close you were on this one. Billy Ray Cyrus was born in Kentucky. He is not Canadian. However, Robin Thicke
I thought of that.
is very, very much Canadian and very, very much associated with Miley Cyrus. And he was being babysat by Wayne Gretzky the night he was traded.
We picked the wrong end of the twerking. Damn it. That's okay.
I had thought about, like, he had crossed my
It's a
mind,
very
but I thought
blurred
that he
line.
was too old.
That's good, Jeff. Good on you, Jeff.
All right, question number 5 in Dollar Bills, y'all. According to stuffy actor John Houseman in a 1986 commercial, which former investment firm made money the old-fashioned way? They earned it.
He emphasized former, so it's probably one of the ones that fell apart in the bank collapse of, it seems so long ago now with all the other things that are going on.
He said 1985.
Yeah.
Not really watching TV at that point in my non-existent life.
Yeah.
If it matters, it was 1986.
Oh, okay. Well, I still wasn't watching any TV then.
Yeah,
But
I was one, and I was an avid Alf viewer at the time, I believe. That sounds made up.
I do not know, and I'm not going to pull this.
Okay, then we're gonna just say J.P. Morgan then, because it's an investment firm. So.
Okay. So I only knew this one just from sort of compilations of old commercials, sort of those recap shows. And he was known, he won an Oscar for this movie called The Paper Chase, and he was in The Fog, which I know him from. But I believe the commercial, I could be getting the name backwards, but I think it's Smith Barney. I wanted to say Barney Smith, but I think it's Smith Barney.
All right, the investment firm that made money the old-fashioned way, they earned it, is Smith Barney.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Might be the only one.
Never would have pulled that.
It might be the only one we get this round because we've been tanking. So, so we only gained 10 points that round so far. So we're getting beat pretty good here. We are at 140. And how about you guys?
We've gained 30, so we're at 125, and we're catching up.
It's getting close.
All right, question number 6 in the category of they beat Vancouver once, maybe twice in a lifetime. For which now relocated NHL team did Gordie Howe play to become the oldest person to ever play in an NHL game in 1980?
I think we can lock in. You don't have anything on it, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't know anything about hockey.
Okay, so we can lock in.
Okay, what are you thinking, Jeff? You can talk out loud.
So I'm pretty sure he came out of retirement to play a game with his kid. And I'm trying to remember what team his kid played for.
Maybe the Maple Leafs. Maybe it's the Maple Leafs.
You go with whatever you want, Neal.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
We're going to lock in with the Maple Leafs.
The Maple Leafs are still in Toronto, so I don't think it's them. The Hartford Whalers are now the Carolina Hurricanes. I think that it was the Hartford Whalers. So that's what we said.
All right. Well, the reference for the clue in the category name here comes from one of my favorite movies of all time, Mallrats. Breakfast come and go, but Hartford, the Whale, they beat Vancouver once, maybe twice in a lifetime. The Hartford Whalers is the team we were looking for.
They have the coolest logo, and it's a shame that it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, they now exist in the Carolinas as the Carolina Hurricanes.
Sorry, Jeff.
All right. Question number 7 in Just Like the White-Winged Dove. According to songwriter and producer Rob Fusari, Destiny's Child's Bootylicious samples Stevie Nicks' Edge of 17 because he could not find a copy of what other song that he actually preferred to use. For the record, I can't tell these songs apart until either a power chord or Stevie Nicks' vocals come in.
Oh, this is funny.
You're locked in? Okay.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Jeff?
Well, you know how Edge of 17 starts, right?
No. Is that Bootylicious?
Well, you know how Bootylicious starts.
Yeah,
that one you know. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. 'cause
Kelly,
it's
can you
basically the
handle
same.
this? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Doesn't it sound like that song though?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I get what's
yeah.
going on here now. Yeah, so okay. All right, so you can lock it in.
All right, we're gonna lock in. Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, and if you just hear the intro until that guitar doesn't come in, you're not sure, and then you're disappointed when it's Bootylicious and not Eye of the Tiger.
Are you?
I'm disappointed.
Yes, the answer we're looking for there is Eye of the Tiger, and I can never tell which song is starting when until either that power chord or Stevie Nicks comes in with Just Like the White-Winged Dove. Yeah.
Can you imagine Rocky 3 with Bootylicious as the song instead? It's a little different.
All right, we're going on to question number 8 in the category of Get You Some Culture. If you wanted to see Emmanuel's Washington Crossing the Delaware, Van Gogh's Self-Portrait with a Straw Hat, or Edgar Degas' The Dance Class, you would have to visit which American museum?
I thought that maybe it could be the Met.
Mm-hmm.
That if these paintings are so famous, it's probably somewhere in New York or a very large city. So I thought the Met, perhaps.
Yeah. I was thinking, I don't think that they're at the Art Institute of Chicago because I haven't seen them, but I don't go very often. I can't, a lot of times these are not where you would think they were. I think a few times we had their really famous paintings that were like in Philadelphia's art museum or whatever. But I think these ones are famous enough that the Met makes sense. So you think we should lock in with that one?
I think so. I'm happy with it.
Okay, we are locked in with the Met.
Yeah, we had a similar line of thinking. I wasn't too sure where these paintings could be sort of from that angle. I'm still going off the theme, and I know there were references to this museum, and we also went with the Met.
All right. Well, they are found at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or simply the Met.
All right.
Ooh.
Nice.
What is this quiz clue? I can't figure it out.
That's the only thing keeping me alive, so thank you to Dan for that.
So you guys have like an advantage, but we're still getting these right.
Question number 9 in a literal Friends question, like the TV show. Synonymous with yesteryear and olden times, what 4-letter word meaning a long time ago was the period that Rachel told Phoebe her apothecary table came from, so as not to admit that she had shopped at Pottery Barn?
You watch Friends?
No. So this is the now weekly time period where I say I've never seen Friends because these questions keep coming up.
Yeah, same here. I don't know Friends either.
And I'm not going to watch it for these trivia episodes, so stop asking them. And I don't know the theme either.
That's our lead. So
4-letter word for long time ago. This is the worst crossword I've ever done. So you said yore, which makes sense to me. You know, you say days of yore when you're referring to olden times, and I don't think that we're going to come up with anything else.
No.
So we're locking in with yore.
Jeff, you can take this one because I don't know if it's correct, but I know there's another reference to what we're saying, but maybe it's not right.
Okay. I thought one of these was in Old Lang Syne. I thought that meant like old long time or something like that. So we're just going to go Lang.
All right. Well, that word that Rachel uses as the period that it comes from, it's from a long time ago, like the days of yore. Yore is your correct answer.
All right.
Oh, wow.
And that was your correct answer, Jane. Good job.
First one of the day.
Right, question number 10 in You Are a Saint. Though it was then part of the Ottoman Empire, Mother Teresa was born in the city of Skopje, which is currently the capital of which country? Please do be specific.
No, I remember it, Neil. This came up recently. We were talking about it. I remember.
Okay. All right. We're going to lock in.
Okay, so this will be easier to talk about. So we're looking, you think it's definitely European, right?
Yes. We my son has been playing a lot of dumb stuff on Xbox, so I was like, let's do something you can learn. And you start out in Europe and it asks you have to get through all the capitals, and then you go through all the flags and you do all this. And I remember this being, this is one of them.
And I can't think of anything else.
Albania's
Oh, that sounds familiar.
I feel like it's something that's like it's definitely like Eastern. Okay, I guess go with Albania.
Albania it is.
All right, Jeff, take it away.
Yeah, so I remember this coming up a while ago. We were trying to figure out where Mother Teresa was from, and Neil and I believe we were talking about the fact that we kind of always remember her wearing like blue and white, and we knew those were the national colors of Greece. So we guessed Greece, but we were wrong. But we weren't far off. And I remember, since Dan said be specific, Macedonia had an issue with Greece. Was it last year about naming? And so they changed their name to North Macedonia, I think. So that's what we locked in with.
All right. Well, the capital city, Skopje, is the city in North Macedonia.
Oh, wow.
The reason I did ask you to be specific is because they have just recently changed their name.
Yeah.
Good job, Jeff. I had no idea on that one.
And Neil, where I just want to know what you thought the
yes,
theme was there.
So for the theme, I had at least the first five. I had Ted, Lily, Marshall, Robin. I had How I Met Your Mother, but I had no idea. And I knew the Met I came to because I think there's an episode where they're in the Met, but that's all I got.
Well, you are correct on those first five. If you listened very carefully, you would have gotten from 6 on question about Gordie Howe, the Eye of the Tiger, the Met,
and your
Days of Yore, and Mother Teresa.
Oh my God. Yes, that's great. Great job.
Okay.
So the final questions are going to have these 5 categories: California Dreamin', Monday, Dedicated to the One I Love,
Yep.
I Saw Her Again, and Dream a Little Dream of Me.
Yep, all Mamas and Papas songs.
Well, just for the record, going into this final round with these categories, Jeff naps periodically has 160, and Quarantine Beauty Routine is 165. So it could be anyone's game.
Oh, wow.
All the wagers are locked in. Let's throw it to Dan.
All right. Question number 1 in the category of California Dreamin'. According to the 2008 population estimates, there are 3 cities in California with a population over 1 million. Name all 3 of them. And this is city population, not metro area. Question number 2 in Monday. Black Monday was the name given to a stock market crash in which the Dow unexpectedly lost 22.6% of its volume. To this day, it is the largest percentage drop in Dow Jones history. In which year did this drop occur?
Is that still accurate?
It is still accurate, yes.
Okay.
Question 3 in Dedicated to the One I Love. After being turned down 14 times, what poet self-published his collection and dedicated it to all 14 of the publishing houses that told him no thanks? Surprisingly, he capitalized on this collection's success to publish future works. Question 4, I Saw Her Again. Having been put to death in 1536 for accusations of witchcraft and adultery, among other things, this woman's ghost is said to haunt her childhood home of Hever Castle in Kent, England, as well as the Tower of London. And question number 5 in Dream a Little Dream of Me. The Old Testament book of Daniel tells of a Babylonian king who dreamed of a statue of a man composed of 4 metals. These medals were later explained to reference 4 kingdoms that would rise to power in the future. Name the king that experienced this vision.
All right, we're going to take a look at these questions, and we'll be back with our answers. All the answers are locked in, so let's go back to the questions and provide some answers.
All right. In the category of California Dreamin', according to the 2018 population estimates, there are 3 cities in California with a population of over 1 million. I'd like you to name them. Jeff and Neal?
So we wagered, we went big. We went 30 all the way down on these.
Ooh.
So we put 30 on this. And we're pretty sure that this is Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Jose.
So we wagered 20, and we went with San Diego, Los Angeles, but we said San Jose.
All right. The answers we're looking for here are Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Jose.
Nicely done, Matt.
All right. Question 2 was in Monday. Black Monday was a name given to a stock market crash in which the Dow unexpectedly lost 22.6 of its volume. To this day, this is the largest percentage drop in Dow Jones history. In which year did this drop occur?
So we were kind of dancing between 2011 and 2012 and thought that 2012 seemed like a better year for a stock market crash.
Seemed like a good year, yeah. So
yeah, like we hadn't had one in a while, so.
Yeah, I think we may have answered a little too quickly, not thought it through as much as we should have. We went with 1929.
All right. Well, this crash was very bad, very, very bad. It came out of the savings and loans debacle, and it happened in 1987.
Oh, wow.
Dedicated to the one I love. After being turned down 14 times, what poet published his collection and dedicated it to all 14 of the publishing houses that told him no thanks? Surprisingly, he capitalized on this collection's success to publish future works. Jane and Matt.
This one we had no idea, and all the answers we came up with we didn't like and thought they were wrong, but we had to pick one, so we said Poe.
All right, Jeff and Neal.
We couldn't really think of a good solid answer for this either. We also said Edgar Allan Poe.
The collection was actually called No Thanks. And the reason it was surprising that he capitalized on it was because he never used capitalization, and that is E. Cummings. All right, let's move on to a better one here. I saw her again. After having been put to death in 1536 for accusations of witchcraft and adultery, among other things, this woman's ghost is said to haunt her childhood home of Haver Castle in Kent, England, as well as the Tower of London. Jeff and Neal, what did you have?
This is solely based, and I could be wrong, solely based on my knowledge of the musical Six and of Tower of London, but I'm pretty sure it's Anne Boleyn, Queen Anne Boleyn. So that's what we said.
All right, Matt and Jane.
Based on my love of haunted travel shows that I watch on occasion, I'm pretty sure this is Anne Boleyn.
And Anne Boleyn is the correct answer. Very good. And finally, in Dream a Little Dream of Me, the Old Testament book of Daniel tells of a Babylonian king who dreamed of a statue of a man composed of 4 metals. These metals were later explained to reference 4 kingdoms that would rise to power in the future. Name the king that experienced this vision. And we'll go with Matt and Jane.
We were not sure either on this one. Went through a couple different kings, settled on one we liked, and said King Solomon.
Yeah, right. This question is for all the marbles, and whether we got it right or we got it wrong is going to determine today's winner. But we also thought this was King Solomon.
All right. Well, that king was the king in Babylon when Daniel was exiled there. You might know his name better as a ship from a certain sci-fi movie, the Nebuchadnezzar.
Oh, Ken haunts us from afar with his Matrix references. All right, well, looks like after the scores have been tabulated, Jeff naps periodically ended with 130, and today's cream of the crop with 145 points Quarantine Beauty Routine, Jane and Matt.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Hey, well done.
Great job,
Yes,
guys.
We lost less points in the final, so good for us.
That was the strategy.
Yeah.
You both did wonderful. Jane, thank you very much for joining us today and for supporting us on Patreon. Any final words from you?
No, just everybody stay safe out there, practice good social distancing, and hopefully by the time this comes out, we won't need to have this conversation every day. Yes,
thank you. We totally agree. But thank you very much for joining us. And Dan, wonderful game. Thank you very much for hosting and writing it. It was so much fun with both themes, and all the questions were wonderful. But thank you very much.
Oh, of course. Thank you again for having me. I just want to go ahead and shout out the board game company that I'm working with right now. It is called Twice Alive Games, and we have 2 games available right now, and they're both very, very fun and very, very different. Check us out at twicealivegames.com, or check us out on Facebook, all the other places, and order a game or two. They're really fun. And of course, shout out to the Sinister Six. You guys know who you are. Everybody knows who you are right now. So thanks for helping me get this game set, and for everything else you do.
Wonderful. Dan, thank you very much for hosting. You did a great job hosting. I know it was your first time here at least, and you're welcome back anytime. It was a wonderful game. And just to throw some links at everyone, definitely check out twicealivegames.com to support Dan. And then both of Dan and Jane are Patreon supporters. So you can hit us up at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast to help keep the show growing and keep us alive. We really appreciate all of your support. For Ken, who's making his abacuses for mass production, for Jeff, Matt, Jane, and Dan, my name is Neal, and that was Triviality.
Is John Marshall.
Ooh.
All right.
Nice.
Man.
Nicely done, Matt.
I applied for that school once.
What
And now I'm a podcaster, so I'll tell you what happened.